Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Talk Spicy. I'm Coach Gene Clemens. Thank you for joining me wherever you are joining me. Rate the show, comment, agree, disagree, but whatever you do, keep it spicy. 5-star ratings are appreciated. And if you're joining me on my YouTube channel, rate the show, comment. We would love that. Yeah, we know the rules. We all know the rules. Everybody knows the rules. Because from the moment we ever do anything in sports or in life, we are told what the rules are. You can do this, but you can't do this. You can do that, but you can't do this. You can do this, but you can't do that. We get it. We understand the rules. But there's this weird thing about rules that no one ever talks about. And I think it was Joe Rogan. Shout out to Joe Rogan, who is to me the gold standard of podcasting. Joe Rogan said in a stand-up special once, he was like talking about the Constitution, and if our forefathers were alive today, like if Benjamin Franklin was alive today, he would be like, you guys didn't write any new stuff? Like, we wrote that with a feather. Yeah, because rules and laws are put into place to regulate things until you need to change them. And it doesn't matter when that time is that it needs to be changed. Once you realize that it needs to be changed, it needs to be changed. What's interesting to me about the Sha'Carrie Richardson thing is not the fact that she smoked marijuana. It's not the fact that she was caught and is suspended. That's the rules. We know the rules. Sha'Carrie Richardson never said, hey, you guys should let me run. Sha'Carrie Richardson said, I knew the rules, but I was dealing with some things and I needed to medicate myself the best way that I know how. And so she made a decision that she knew would ultimately cost her. And now looking back on it, that's probably why she did not enter the 200, or she scratched the 200, because she probably knew this was coming down the pike. Here's my issue. My issue is with the people who don't have the foresight to go, this is antiquated. This doesn't work. So I did some research, and one thing I saw, I think it was on NBC Sports, what I would consider to be a reputable source, is that the marijuana was put onto the substance list in 2001. So marijuana was put onto the substance list in 2001. I'm sorry, 2021, not 2001, in 2021. Why? Like, why was marijuana added when everybody else in the world is saying that marijuana is no longer a thing we should be checking for? Why is it that in the city where someone could smoke weed freely, the U.S. anti-doping, USADA, U.S. Anti-Doping Association, decides that they're going to rally against marijuana? I can tell you this. I have never done any drugs outside of prescription drugs that I've taken because I've had a surgery. I'm not into that type of stuff. I don't like smoke. I can tell you as a runner that putting smoke into your lungs before you run, during, after, it's not going to help your performance. I can tell you as someone who ran nowhere near to the elite level that these people run, it is not performance enhancing. I can tell you that there's been tons of studies done that shows it does, obviously it does calm you. So if the argument that I believe was made by Emmanuel Acho, whom I'm not a fan of, I just think he does a little bit too much to be the contrarian of everything black, while he's trying to have uncomfortable black conversations. I don't really understand it all the time. I don't understand why he takes the position he takes all the time, but he said this, and I want to give attribution to him because he's right. Marijuana could make someone who's anxious calmer and allow them to perform. Yes, that's true. But the damage far outweighs the benefit. If I'm taking away my lung capacity because I'm introducing smoke into my lungs, that's not going to help me run faster. That's just not. Because everything with running and running fast is an ability for these lungs to get oxygen into the blood, which allows your body to perform at a higher level. So then I go back and I go, well, all right. No, there's no legitimate performance enhancing the marijuana. Then what are we doing here? Well, I'll tell you what we're doing. We're showing that we still have control. That's what we're doing. Because Sha'Carrie Richardson, and here's the hypocrisy of it. Sha'Carrie Richardson could have went out and said, hey, listen, I'm dealing with a lot, doctor. Can I get something? And she could have had a subscription of some type of drug from a doctor that would have given her a similar case and a similar effect as marijuana, that wasn't as healthy, that wasn't as safe, and she would have been fine. But because Sha'Carrie Richardson decided that she was going to take the medication for her well-being into her own hands and not go through a doctor who's going to prescribe her some type of drug that's probably not very good for her, she no longer can race in the 100 meters. Because she should not be able to make that decision for herself. That doesn't make any sense. We know the rules, but when the rules are antiquated, it's time to change the rules. And by the way, it shouldn't matter when that happens. Someone should have said when she was popped, hey, this doesn't make any sense. This doesn't help her performance. We're not going to worry about it. Remember that this is the U.S. Anti-Doping Association, which means that Jamaica's not set to these same standards. China's not set to these same standards. England's not set to these same standards. This is only the standards of the U.S. Anti-Doping Association. The U.S. We're doing it to ourselves. And in a way, we've done this in track and field to ourselves forever. Believe it or not, rarely does the U.S. ever put the strongest team out there. Because outside of gymnastics, where they get an opportunity to choose who goes, in track and field, if you don't have a good meet, you don't go to the Olympics. So 400-meter hurdles. United States has the strongest 400-meter hurdle field in the country. It's not, in the world, it's not even close. We have the two ladies who keep on flipping back the world record in Dalilah Muhammad, who's awesome, and in Sydney McLaughlin, who's also awesome and also just happens to be a smoke show. But we also have Shamir Little, who is fantastic. And on any given day is the number 3 400-meter hurdle runner in the world on any given day. Yet Shamir Little is not going to the Olympics because she had one bad race in the finals where she clipped a hurdle and that was it. So now we're taking another runner who, by the way, is really, really good. I think the United States still has a chance, but I do believe Shamir Little at the Diamond League just ran a personal best, which would probably make her, I believe, 4th in the world this year, or the 4th best time in the world this year. So when we look at it from that perspective, we go, are we doing ourselves any favors? And by the way, this happens all over the place. You see it race after race after race. Brazier, who is the best 800 runner in the world, has a horrible race, finishes outside of the top 3, and now would not get an opportunity to go to the Olympics, even though for the past however many years, he has been the best 800-meter runner in the world. We're the only country who does this to ourselves. We have to be so high and mighty all the time when we know the rules, but sometimes once you figure out the rule is antiquated, you need to change it. You don't need to wait. You don't need to have a committee. You just need to change it. We put marijuana on this list in 2001. Somebody got popped for marijuana in 2001. I was wondering why I've never heard of anyone else getting popped for marijuana. You want me to believe that Sha'Carrie Richardson is the only person to ever smoke weed in track and field? Really? But it's only since 2021 that they've put this marijuana onto this list to be able to pop. And then to listen to how everybody clickbait the story, Sha'Carrie Richardson tests positive. Sha'Carrie Richardson banned from Olympics. It makes it seem as if she's done something illegal, because for all that you people talk about, steroids are illegal. I can't just walk out on the street and buy steroids. For me to take steroids is illegal unless it's underneath or prescribed in some type of form through a doctor. But it was shaped in a manner that made her look bad. And I couldn't shake the feeling. I couldn't shake the thought that maybe somebody somewhere said, let's knock this young lady down a peg or two. She's a little bit too young. She's a little bit too outspoken. She's a little bit too brash. Let's knock her down a peg or two. Do you really want me to believe this is the first time Sha'Carrie Richardson has smoked weed? I don't know. I know one thing, that Sha'Carrie Richardson can drink, so she could have went out and got plastered. She could have went out and drunk herself silly, which would not have been good for her. And she would have been okay. Sha'Carrie Richardson could have went out and smoked 1 billion cigarettes and got that, whatever, that nicotine fix that calmed her nerves. That would not have suspended her. She could have went to a doctor to get these drugs. That would not have suspended her. But marijuana, which is probably the safest and healthiest manner of all of those, that's what got her popped. I'm not upset about the fact that she got it, that's the rules. I'm not upset. Sha'Carrie understands that she broke the rules and she has to pay the penance for it. I'm not upset. What I'm upset about, and what I never will get, is how you do not see that this rule is wrong and why you don't fix it immediately. There's a saying, when we know better, you do better. When you know better, you do better. We know better. And we definitely need to do better. Ladies and gentlemen, that's been Talk Spicy. I'm Coach Gene Clemens. We do this thing a couple times a week. Make sure you join us. Rate the show, comment, agree, disagree, but whatever you do, keep it spicy. 5-star ratings are appreciated. And if you are joining me via my YouTube channel, make sure you hit that like, make sure you subscribe. We're trying to get to 2,000 before the end of the summer. We need your help. Until next time, peace.